defendant need to be sworn? Will he be testifying?
Yes, Your Honor, and I do have another witness that's here present with me. If you want to, I don't know if you want to swear them both at the same time or.
Okay, is that going to be your first witness?
No, my client will be the first witness, Your Honor.
Okay, so will she be able to go to a different room or go somewhere else?
Yes, ma'am. I can have her go out into the waiting room.
Okay. We're on record in cause number CR 2328766, State of Texas versus James David Head. Please state your appearance for the record.
Jessica McDonald, attorney for Mr. Head.
Shane Hazelton for the state.
All those.
Deborah Head.
A witness.
Witness.
Okay. All those intending to testify, please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you'll give will be the truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay. And if Ms. Head can go to a different room?
Ms. Head, go ahead and just wait right out.
And Judge, I will have one witness who was going to be logging on here in a few minutes, but she'll be on, I believe, about a couple more minutes.
Okay. All right. Ms. McDonald?
Yes, Your Honor. By way of just a brief opening, I expect that through my witnesses today will show the court that the presiding judge, Judge Blake, who has presided in Fannin County for a number of years, so she often knows parties and players that come before her court, and that does not in itself rise to the level of any need to recuse her. I believe that the evidence will show today that in this particular case, my client, Mr. Head, is the ex-husband of one of Judge Blake's former court reporters. I believe that the evidence will show that there have been outside of the courtroom, outside of the just her interaction with him in the courtroom, that there were things like Judge Blake visiting when Mr. Head's ex-wife had a baby and things of that nature. I further expect that the testimony will show that the divorce between Mr. Head and his now ex-wife was quite contentious and ugly. And I believe the evidence will show that my next witness, Miss Deborah Head, has actually had some criminal charges filed against her that were in front of Judge Blake, arising out of incidents with Mr. Head's ex-wife, again, the person with whom Judge Blake had, at least a professional relationship, and perhaps a bit more when you take into account, her doing nice things like, sending baby gifts or visiting after that.
Buckle up, guys. Today we are going to witness one of the most bizarre courtroom entrances ever. From the very first moment, this isn't your usual case. The narrator sets the stage with sarcastic flair, reminding us that in sovereign citizen land, reality is optional. Then comes the twist that makes this story legendary. The defendant doesn't just show up alone. No, he brings backup, his own mom, ready to play lawyer. This is the perfect chaotic hook.
We're going to ask that under 18 B, Rule of Civil Procedure 18B, that you recuse Judge Blake because she very well may have a personal bias against Mr. Head based on her interactions with him and other members of his family. And if not, then we're asking that you grant that under 18B1, that the impartiality might reasonably be questioned. We want our justice system to not even have the appearance of any impropriety. And so with all the factors we expect to show you today, we ask that you find under 18B 1 and or 2 that Judge Blake should be recused from this particular case. I'm sorry, I couldn't hear that, Judge.
You can call your first witness.
Thank you. I will call James Head. Mr. Head, please state your name for the court.
James David Head.
How old are you, Mr. Head?
46.
And how long have you lived in Fannin County?
For 30 years.
Now, you are currently under an indictment for a DWI third offense, and that is being that case was indicted into the 336 Judge Blake's court. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, Mr. Head, did you know Judge Blake at all prior to coming into her courtroom the first time for this case?
Yes.
And when is the first time that you met Judge Blake?
I met Judge Blake going nearly 14 years, November, when my last child was born. And
who's your last child, and who was the mother of that child?
Shannon.
I'm sorry?
Shannon, which her maiden name was Sudworth.
Okay. Shannon Sudworth. And so Shannon, if we say Shannon, use that first name, that is your ex-wife. Is that right?
Correct.
How long were you and Shannon married?
We were married 11 years.
And what does Shannon do for a living?
She's a stenographer, court reporter.
And did she ever work for Judge Blake?
Yes, she freelanced with Blake in the past.
Okay. So, in other words, Judge Blake has a court reporter that's assigned and in her court most days. Is that right?
Correct.
Shannon did not work as that type of court reporter that was in Judge Blake's court every day. Is that right?
That's what I understand, yes.
Okay. But you said you met Judge Blake when your last child was born 14 years ago. Can you describe, where were you when you met her?
We were in the Greenville Hospital. It was probably a day or two after. Like I say, this is, by memory, 14 years ago. But I do remember her, Miss Blake, coming in and having, a little thing of flowers and a gift for us.
All right, guys, here's where things take a wild turn. The judge calmly asks the defendant to state his name for the record, and instead of a simple answer, we get the infamous "I do not consent" routine. This tired line has never worked in court, but he doubles down with living man theatrics. And just when it couldn't get worse, Mom chimes in, coaching him to declare a special appearance. It's early, but the cringe level is already off the charts.
Okay. And you had not met Judge Blake prior to that, correct?
No, ma'am.
Did you, so were you aware at that point that your then wife had worked for Judge Blake?
Yes.
Okay. And so did you, were you actually still in the hospital with the baby?
Yes.
Okay. Where was your daughter born?
In the hospital in Greenville. I don't know the name of the hospital. But it's
And so Judge Blake traveled to Greenville and visited there. Is that right?
Correct.
What year did you and Shannon divorce?
In 2017.
And can you describe, was that an amicable divorce? Was it contentious? Can you describe that?
At first it was both sides, and then it started getting real contentious at the end.
Now, your divorce was not in front of Judge Blake, is that correct?
Correct. No, it wasn't.
It was here in Fannin County, though, is that right?
Yes.
Did Judge Butler preside over that matter?
Judge Butler did, yes, sir.
Okay. During the divorce, would you describe that, how would you describe things between you and Shannon? Well, let me ask you this. Today, do you and Shannon maintain a civil relationship today?
No, we do not.
Do you speak to each other?
No.
Do you have any possession and custody rights to your 14-year-old daughter?
I do, but I haven't. We usually had like a week, every other weekend, and that was eliminated last February.
Okay. And did Shannon take you back to court for that?
No, no, ma'am.
How did that become eliminated?
She stopped coming to my house to stay every other weekend, to where my boy was staying every other week. And now with all of this, with me going to jail in February, my son hasn't been coming.
Now watch this, because the comedy peaks. The defendant dramatically drops hundreds of pages of pseudo-legal paperwork like it's some sacred artifact. The judge barely glances before dismissing it as worthless. But Mom won't back down, insisting he isn't Mr. Johnson but some mystical entity. Then she levels up, claiming to be his biological guardian under natural law. The judge shuts her down cold, and this moment proves fantasy law collides with hard reality.
Now, during the course of your divorce, well, let me ask you this. Are you aware of whether or not your mom has been prosecuted in the court where Judge Blake presides?
Yes.
Were you present in court for any of those occasions?
Yes.
Did you were with your mom in Judge Blake's court? Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
And for what was your mom being prosecuted?
She keyed my ex-wife's car after a hearing with Judge Butler in Judge Butler's court. And Shannon, my ex-wife, filed charges against her.
This is where patience runs dry. The judge tries again to confirm if the defendant understands the charges, but instead gets more sovereign gibberish about offers to contract. Mom jumps in waving the Constitution like it's a get-out-of-jail card, citing fiat currency and Article 1 Section 10. The courtroom groans, the bailiff sighs, and the tension rises. Finally, the judge delivers a sharp ultimatum: answer properly, or face contempt. The clock is ticking.
So, and to be fair, your mom pled guilty, said she did that. Is that right?
Yes, she did.
But the king of the car, the Criminal Mischief Act, happened during the course of the divorce between you and Shannon.
Yes. Yes, it did.
I'm sorry. Okay.
It did, yeah.
And that case was prosecuted in front of Judge Blake.
Yes.
Do you have reason to believe that Judge Blake has a personal bias against you?
I do.
Objection, calls for speculation, Judge.
Sustained.
Do you feel like you've been treated fairly in front of Judge Blake?
No, ma'am. I haven't.
Why not?
I'm not think it happened with my mother, and now it's happened to me now. And with the way I've been out on bond, I've done everything that I was asked to do. Maybe not in a timely manner, not on my part, but on getting these devices and all this. And I feel like that she's really biased against me just because of my past with my ex-wife. I don't know if she's like taking sides or what, but it's just, I'm not getting a fair trial on this.
You were, when you were first arrested on the offense that's currently in front of you, you were a bond was set and you made that bond and bonded out of jail. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
The magistrate who set your bond, did they put conditions on you of having to wear the scram device?
No, ma'am, they didn't.
When Judge Blake reviewed your bond, did she add that device?
Yes, she did.
Now, you understand that Judge Blake can amend bond conditions as she sees fit to protect the community.
Correct.
Do you understand that?
Yes.
Okay, so that in and of itself is not anything to show that she treated you unfairly. Would you agree with that?
Well, when I first got out on bond in May of 2023, I didn't have any bond conditions other than going in and to check in with the bond officer. I double checked with my bail bondsman, and there was no stipulations on scram device or anything on my bond conditions at that time. So that's when a warrant was issued for this past February, and that's when I was arrested on a traffic violation.
Here comes the breaking point. The judge calls contempt, and bailiffs move in to remove the defendant. Chaos erupts as Mom shouts about unalienable rights while her son is escorted away, still yelling "I do not consent." He tries to claim he's just a traveler on the land, but that journey ends with him heading straight to lockup. It's the perfect crash of internet fantasy meeting cold reality, and you can feel the entire courtroom sigh with relief.
Ordered you to go immediately, whether you were going to drive your vehicle or not, and put the interlock device on your vehicle. Is that right?
That is correct.
Waiting, Judge.
And I'm sorry. Okay. So that was reset. Did you make an appointment to try to get that put on your vehicle?
Yes, I did. I got with Smart Start and had to schedule a meeting. And I went to that meeting 2 days before I had court on August 2nd. And somehow that place in Denison, Shipman Communications, didn't have me in the system to have that interlock device installed that day. So I had to reschedule for the following Wednesday.
And your probation, the person you report to at probation was able to confirm that and inform the judge of that. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
But she had also said you had to get enrolled at Freedom of Choice. Did you have an appointment to enroll at Freedom of Choice?
I did, yes.
Were you able to make that appointment?
I wasn't. It was the week before I had that court on that Friday. And so I called and had it rescheduled for that following Wednesday, the same time that I would get the interlock device put on my vehicle.
So the August 2nd court date, when Judge Blake revoked your bond, you were able to tell Judge Blake that, I'm sorry, August 2nd, when you were asked if you'd enrolled in Freedom of Choice and you told the court you'd had to move that appointment, is that when your bond was revoked?
I already did. I got enrolled the Wednesday before the 2nd, before I went to court. So I was enrolled into that class at that time.
So do you feel like your bond was revoked? Well, what is your perception of why your bond was revoked?
Well, I still don't really know why my bond was revoked, because I had, she ordered the scram device to be put on me in April when I left the jail, and I wore it for 4 months and never had a violation on it at all. And she pretty much revoked my bond because of a date discrepancy of when I needed to get
And
wrong.
do you have confidence that going forward for your trial on the merits, that Judge Blake will be a fair and impartial justice to oversee your case?
No, I do not.
Is there any other reason, anything else you want Judge Cooks to hear?
No, just that I feel unfair in this whole court case. I know it's started as a DWI case, but it's turned into violating my rights, and it feels like I'm guilty until proven innocent. And I've missed a lot of work. I've missed the corn harvest. My boss had to actually call in a harvest crew to come in and combine our corn for us because I wasn't there to work. We're a small farm, but I mean, it's been really, really hard.
After the chaos inside, the spectacle continues outside. Mom grabs her phone and starts live streaming, ranting about filing liens on every judge and promising they'll wake up the people. The defendant echoes with dreams of a common law court, a court that doesn't actually exist. It's delusion on full display, but then the narration pivots, grounding the viewer with the truth. Sovereign citizen theories have been universally rejected in every real courtroom.
Ask the witness.
Mr. Hazelton?
Thank you, Judge. Mr. Head, in the beginning of this case, you initially had another counsel, right?
I did.
Okay, what was that attorney's name?
It was Jackie Van Zett.
Okay, and at some time during that, you decided to represent yourself, isn't that true?
I did.
Okay, you also wrote letters to the court and you filed motions on your behalf, isn't that true?
I did.
Okay, and some of that you quoted about naval law and based some of your laws that you were basing these motions on, is that correct?
It was a conditional acceptance.
Okay, based on what kind of laws were you arguing in those motions?
It's the constitutional law.
Okay, what do you mean by that?
It's the actual law that comes from the Supreme Court rulings.
Okay, what were those motions you were filing?
What were they?
Yes.
It was just a conditional acceptance. I would accept what y'all are trying to get me to do with the DWI case. And if all I was asking was, for like your oath of office, Judge Blake's oath of office. I mean, are we still in what jurisdiction were we going to be in? That sort of thing.
Okay, and we had a hearing on this, and there were some issues during that where you disagreed with Judge Blake on her rulings. Isn't that true?
Not actually her rulings.
Okay, with the jurisdiction of the court, though, you took issue with the jurisdiction of this court.
Is that a ruling?
During the initial hearings we had, do you recall those, the first time you appeared on this court?
Yes, they're right.
Okay, and you took issues with her rulings about the jurisdiction of this court?
I did, yes.
Okay, and that's based on your beliefs of the Constitution that they didn't have this jurisdiction, this court didn't have jurisdiction over you, isn't that true?
I was trying to see which jurisdiction y'all had over me, and y'all would never give it to me.
Okay, what jurisdictions were you referring to?
The law of the land, a maritime law.
All right, guys, here's the wrap up. The narration delivers the final reality check. You are not a legal fiction, judges don't need your permission, and no, your mom can't save you from a legal mess. It closes with the key lesson that these arguments don't just fail, they often land you in worse trouble. A sharp outro reminds us, don't fall for the myth, and always bring a real lawyer, not your mom. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you in the next one.
Okay. You decide to represent your case yourself. Judge appoints Miss McDonald as standby counsel, and this case got set for trial. Isn't that true?
Yes, for June.
Oh, March, reset till March 14th. Doesn't that sound accurate for trial initially?
I didn't hear March 15th. I remember a June.
Okay. Sometime through that, you decide to let Miss McDonald represent you. Isn't that true?
Correct.
Okay. Your attorney filed a motion asking to clarify who was representing you. Was it going to be you representing yourself or Miss McDonald? And we had a hearing on that, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And during that hearing, Judge Blake asked you about, did you want Miss McDonald to represent yourself? Correct?
Correct.
Okay. And you told the court that you did want Miss McDonald to proceed in representing you during this trial.
Correct.
Okay. So the court didn't interfere with you represent yourself, true?
Yes, because y'all would never give me any time that I have a lawyer, I can't represent myself. Even with counsel, I didn't want counsel in this court.
Okay.
But with everything that had been done, I let Miss McDonald to go ahead and continue to be my lawyer.
Okay, we had a hearing on this in front of this Judge Blake, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Judge, may I screen share a few things at the moment?
You may.
And I'd ask the court to take judicial notice of everything in the court's file in this case.
Court takes judicial notice.